Hello everyone and welcome to Best Side Cycling. Today we're here at R&E Cycles, also known as Rodriguez Bicycles, and they're a local bike maker slash shop renowned for their steel and tandem bikes and have been at it for 51 years. Today we're going to get a behind the scenes tour of the whole process given by Dan himself, one of the main owners of this shop. So without further ado, let's get right into what it really means to have a custom made bike for you and your family.
We'll do a quick tour and show you what we do. This is our museum. That's a 1973 Rodriguez road frame, road bike, fully original. 1979 Tandem. That Tandem was in Bicycling magazine. They called it the most advanced tandem they'd ever seen in 1980.
And Dan was mentioning this is the oldest tandem making shop still in America?
Still making tandems in America, yes.
Right.
We've been building since 1973 right here. That's a track frame that's a pair to that road bike. 1983 touring bike, 1976 road bike.
Nice.
And then on the very top is a 76 racing bike. And that guy right in the middle is the guy that rode that frame, that bike.
Awesome. Really tall indeed.
There's me in that would have been 87.
How long have you been with the shop, Dan?
Since 1987.
All right.
We are probably one of the only companies that is our size that builds every single bike one at a time. We don't do any mass production building bicycles. So every bike starts off with a custom fit.
Right.
You met Smiley. Smiley works with them and comes out with the perfect size to be comfortable. And then software that we wrote, we write all of our own software, puts all the information in, we generate fit numbers. Everything goes upstairs to the office where I will do a drawing or Max will do a drawing. And then from there, the drawing goes downstairs.
Ooh, this is very cool.
This is
like a laboratory of some sort.
Yeah, it's kind of like a museum of machinery.
Wow.
This is not where we build bikes. This is where we build bicycle parts. So if we're going to do a mass production run of something, it happens in here.
Right.
And we will actually move the machines around into position so that when we're making the parts, we don't have to move. The part just moves in a counterclockwise fashion around the room, and not much gets done for bicycles in here, just bicycle parts.
I see.
The bicycles happen here, so all the fit information and parts chosen and all that kind of stuff are all on this paper. That's what went upstairs to me, and then a drawing gets created by me upstairs. So this is a drawing that we're going to use to create the frame. So it has all the angles, all the tubing sizes, all the brazons that are going to go on the bike, what kind of tubing we're going to use, fork lengths, all that kind of stuff.
Wow. How many people are involved with this, and how long on average does it take?
To build a frame?
Yeah.
So Todd, our master frame builder here, can build, depending on the model, so a basic model like maybe one of our Rainiers, he can pull the drawing out of the page there, grab the tubing, and be done with it in maybe 5 hours.
Wow. Okay.
So that used to be about a 16-hour job.
Right.
But the way we manufacture is completely different than anything that you've ever seen or anybody's ever seen, really. We manufacture one bike at a time on machines that we made. We used to make the bikes on machines like you saw in the other room. Machines that are designed for mass production, and you're trying to make a custom bike with it. So it might take you 45 minutes to make an adjustment just to make one cut.
Right.
So that's why you usually see production sizes in a company. We used to do this. We have to take 45 minutes to adjust the machine, so we're gonna make 20 of those sizes.
Right.
That works really good if you have 20 people the same size come in and order the same bike on the same day. That works great. But that's not what we have.
Okay.
We have somebody, 5 foot tall come in and order a race bike, and then we've got somebody 7 foot tall, like Fred, come in and order a touring bike, and then we have a family that wants a bicycle built for 4, and they just So every bike comes in an order, and it gets in the queue in that order, and we build it in that order. And in order to do that efficiently, we came up with ways to use mass production efficiency in custom production bikes. And one thing we can do, so this, people look at this, oh, where'd you get that? Well, this is something that was made by the people that worked here. So to miter a tube, you have to have a miter on it so it fits up against another tube. That's how you put a bicycle frame together. The tubes have to be mitered to fit in there.
Oh, I just noticed this. This is really cool.
If you check that miter out, that is the most precise miter that can be made. So there's a couple of benefits to the customer on that. One is that the frame is stronger if you've got a miter that good. Because if you have a miter that has a gap like that, then you're relying on the welder filler rod as the strength of the joint.
Right.
If you've got a miter that's perfect like this, the filler rod is just attaching the two materials together.
Right.
If you have a miter that's tight like that, the welder can weld it in three times faster.
That's awesome.
So you're not paying a welder for 3 hours when you could be paying him for 1. So your frame,
that's great.
Reduced price. The other, so it's strength and it's less expensive. The way those miters get into the tube is completely different. So we clamp a tube in between these two jaws, and we'll push it up against this bell sander. And then these are different mandrels, and I can relieve the pressure. Oh, watch your foot there.
Oh, sorry.
So I can relieve the pressure on that, pop this lever, change this mandrel for one of the other sizes. If I needed to make a miter this big, I use a mandrel this big. And then the sander makes a perfect miter. If you make a miter in that mill in there, you've got a mill head coming down, and it's not nearly as precise. And if you just hold that tube, see how light that is?
Oh wow, this is pretty light.
0.3 millimeters thick. So a mill oftentimes will just rip that tube.
Right.
Who pays for mistakes? The customer always pays for mistakes, right?
Yeah.
The company has to absorb them. If that tube costs $75 and I threw it in the garbage because I ripped it, that cost has to go into every bike I make over the year, right?
Yeah.
So this doesn't make that mistake.
Okay.
The other thing this can be done, I can make an angle adjustment on this just by loosening that and doing this. And all my angles on my drawing that we're looking at, if I'm showing an angle there, this is extrapolated out over 16 inches. I can grab my measurement, tighten it up, so I can make that adjustment in seconds instead of minutes.
So is there a name for this whole contraption?
We call this the Enterprise. Can you tell why?
Enterprise. Yeah, the shape is like
it looks like the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So this is the Enterprise.
And is this like designed anywhere else that you know of?
Nobody has anything like this.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
okay.
it.
Yeah, that's what I presume.
Nobody else is. They're not crazy enough to try to build that.
Okay.
This table here you see, you could put 1, 2, 3 bottom brackets on it.
Okay.
Because you can build a bicycle built for 3 and have everything still clamped in there. And then if we do a 4, we build 3 and then we slide it out and go 1 forward, undo another one, and then we do 5.
That's awesome.
And the front end just keeps going out that way.
As someone that's never built bikes before, this looks like a torture device for bike frames.
So this, yeah, it does. This started out as a 4-inch slab of steel from a print shop. It was a cutting deck from a print shop. And it laid flat, and then we set it up, and then this was just a piece of steel that I had in the warehouse. And we took it down to a huge machine shop who ground it flat for us, gave us a perfect surface, and then we cut it in half on one of the mills in here. And so like I said, all this stuff we made so that we could add efficiency and precision to the process. The more precise, the better the product, the less warranties. The most expensive thing you can do is deliver defective product to a customer.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the most expensive thing you do. Reworking things are expensive. This is a little machine we call R2 because he kind of, originally we thought he looked like R2-D2. He had a different switch on there. But all this does is cut a slot in a chain stay or a seat stay for a dropout to fit in. Basically from here,
Yep.
he just does a tack weld on all these joints, and that it'll look like this when he's done. So he's just got kind of a partial weld on all these joints, and he can move it over to this station. This is where the slots get cut for these dropouts to fit in. You can see kind of a little slot in the stays there.
That's true.
Takes minutes instead of hours screwing around with stuff. So from here, we have this other welder that he can really dial in, and then he just does all the finish welding right here. And then bridges. So this is Yoda.
I see a very
You see
clear
Yoda?
Star Wars, Star Trek.
Yeah,
going on.
there's Star Trek and Star Wars. Yeah, we took 3 months to make all this stuff and retool. I literally pulled the plug in 2006 and said, one bike at a time. How are we going to do it? And everybody sat down and kind of designed their own things and started building their own things. And so this is Yoda, and this is a mill head off of an old mill lathe combo that was in the other room. We just pulled the mill head off and bolted it to this big piece of steel, and Dennis made this thing. And so this makes bridges, which are the little things that hold your fenders or your brakes if you're doing rim brakes. Those are actually pretty labor intensive if you don't have a deal like that. You sit there and you clamp it in the vise, and you're just, taking the round file and just, filing it and trying to get the angles right and get them to sit in the frame straight. That thing has a piece that loosens, pulls out, comes over, grabs the angle, and we put it back in the machine, and just, it's perfect. And then we turn it over and cut the other side, and then drops in.
So how many different designs are there that you have of these steel bikes? I don't know. A lot of different variations, or it just seems like
the evolution of the bike has. So now we're doing a lot of these, S-bend stays because people want fat tires and racing cranks and all kinds of. But we have the Finney Ridge is our big model, and then we have the Rainier, which is kind of more classic road bike. And then we've got the race bikes, the Outlaws, the competitions, like the 13-pound bike that's upstairs. Did you lift it?
Not yet.
Oh, well, we'll lift it when we're done here. So for bikes, there's been so many different evolutions. We got the 6-pack, which is the little 20-inch wheel, goes as carry-on luggage bike. We've got Tandems, bicycles built for 4, 5, 2.
And the fact that every bike is custom built fit for someone means that it's just
there's no limit because we just kind of, exactly. The thing that we do different is one builder does the frame from start to finish. So we don't have a station. We don't have a brazing station where a different person is doing the brazing, a different person's doing the welding, a different person's doing the tacking. If Todd starts a bike, he follows it all the way around the room. And then Max will be, so we work in like that. That's where errors used to happen. When we used to do this mass production and we had somebody doing this, somebody else doing this. If you're doing the same mistake to 20 bikes in a row, it's 20 reworks. This is Locutus, Star Trek people. This is the laser alignment table, which is the only one in existence. Again, so what this does for us is it makes aligning faster. So if you look up here,
there's
that
a
laser
line.
light?
Yep.
You want that light, so if it's out of alignment, it looks like that, right?
Okay. Yeah, so it's off of that block thing you can sort of see there.
And you see that gray line represents the old way that we used to measure, and the same way that most the other builders still measure to see if the frame's in alignment is they have a caliper that they're putting on here, and it extends up, and they measure to here, and then they bring it around and they measure to here.
Right.
And so they're extrapolating a measurement over 5 inches.
Got it.
Our measurement's extrapolated out over 5 feet. So if you look over there, that gray line, if this was out there, that's 1 millimeter of alignment, but it's it's almost a centimeter for us.
Got it.
So our extrapolation allows us to be much more accurate in alignment than anybody else can even imagine, because they can't extrapolate the lines out that far. From here, we do a couple little more machine pieces. These are low-tech machines, but they do fun jobs. Just, reaming out for the headset to fit into the head tube. That used to be a job. I wonder if I still have a reamer over here. Yeah. That job used to look more like that. And you clamp it in the vise and you're just doing that for 20 minutes a bike, 30 minutes a bike. Now, we just slide this out, drop this guy, slide the frame up, slide this underneath, boom, boom. And then you literally just turn that sucker on and run it down in. And then you turn it over and do the same thing. So minutes as opposed to, 2 or 3 minutes tops, maybe, and then 25, 30 minutes.
Okay.
And so do you get a better product if somebody spent 30 minutes hand reaming it? No.
Yeah.
You get the same product, you just have to pay more for it because it took a lot more time. When we built this machine, we had to bolt chain rings. I wonder if I can open that and you can see that. There's actual bicycle chain rings in there and a bicycle chain. You can kind of see from this angle if you wanted to see it, but it's because the belt wasn't strong enough, it kept slipping. So we said, how are we going to solve that? So we actually just bolted a chain ring to the pulleys and then bolted a cog on the backside and ran a bicycle chain. So we have a number of those things in the shop that we use bicycle. Actually, there's bicycle parts on the Enterprise,
Nice.
Bicycle bottom brackets. So from there, it gets a final QC, and then it'll go over to paint, which is just next door.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is a really in-depth tour. This is really awesome.
The Seattle glass. That's Seattle glass.
Okay, I know. Okay. Yeah, it's been rough. It's been rough around here.
It's been rough, this is to say the least. Yeah.
Say it like that
So this
way.
is paint, and paint doesn't have a lot of excitement. It's just a really clean area. This is just where she does buffing and masking and that kind of thing. But the actual paint she does in here. And it's always been one at a time because it's a tiny paint booth.
Oh, wow.
She just hangs it head tube right there, and she just sprays it. She can turn it around, and that's the fans, the vent fans, and then the oven's right here. So this is the whole paint. You're seeing all of paint right there.
Wow, that's cool. It's amazing how much detail you can get with just this. I didn't know what it would look like, to be honest, before coming in here. Yeah.
She's been with us this is her 30th year painting with us, so she's really, really good. She's the best.
There's a lot of camera trails and that.
And if we, like, when you see, like, we have some ovalized tubes. I don't have anything with ovalized tubes on it. If we have ovalized tubes on a bike, this is where that happens, right here. That's the, these are the different mandrels that we use to, we just put a tube in it, we put it in here, and then this ram just rams up there and crushes it to the,
So
to the shape it's
how
supposed
does a
to be.
customer keep in touch with the manufacturing process? I guess the turnover seems pretty short, but I don't know. Like at what point does the customer...
Well, before the pandemic, it was 4 weeks.
Oh, okay.
You order a bike, 4 weeks later, you come in and pick it up. Now the only limiting factor is parts availability. So if somebody wants specific parts that aren't going to be available for 6 months, then we have to be a 6 month.
Right.
But our software that we wrote, we track if the parts are here for a bike.
Oh, I see.
Because we don't even start painting the bike. I don't start building the bike until I know the parts are on the way.
Right.
Because if you get 20 or 30 frames all built and painted, they're just going to get chipped.
Yeah.
I mean, always.
Yeah.
But everybody sees the software, so if I do all bikes in progress, I can see the whole overview of everything that's in the shop that we're working on. Let's say the parts aren't here for this bike yet, so it's, the parts aren't here for this bike yet, but they are here for this one. So I want to see that one actually I could mark yes.
Nice.
That one I can mark yes. That one I'm waiting for those two parts.
Yeah, I love how, I don't know, just how homely all of this is. It feels like you guys like just together building this. How many people are involved all in all to get someone their bike?
We have probably about 8 people here now.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, and it's I think Todd's been here since 2000. Teresa's been here since 94. Smiley's been here since 2000.
Right.
I've been here since 87.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, we've got a great crew. Great crew. And that's kind of what we do. From there, I'm going to show you the crazy flyweight bikes.
Sure.
So here's one this one's primed, ready for paint. This one's painted, ready to assemble. Just hasn't gotten upstairs yet.
You know, I don't think I could own a tandem, but I really, really wanted to ride one.
Sure.
So at some point, I'll definitely get in touch. That's one of my
Come in, and
goals.
I'll ride a tandem with you.
Yeah, I'd be the stoker for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love riding tandems. My favorite ride, and this is the one that always. So go ahead and pick that guy up.
All right, so one-handed, it is really light. It's labeled 13 pounds, and this is, what material is this out of?
That's steel.
It's steel, yeah.
That's
so
steel.
It's pretty
That's
cool.
the lightest material we can build a bike out of is steel. Lighter than carbon, lighter than titanium. Same steel.
All right, we'll
You just
see.
grab it right there and go like that.
All right, let's see if I can pull this off with one hand. Oh, I'm sort of weak, but even me, as weak as I am, can manage to lift that. So that's pretty impressive. Nice. Wow. So what's an example of something that you built like really recently?
Really recently? Well, this is pretty recent. This guy here, that's a Finney Ridge. That's one of our, that's probably our most popular model right now. So those are the ones ready for assembly hanging up there. So they start here with fitting, and then they go, into drawing, and they go downstairs, get built, get painted, and they come back up, get put right there, and now it's on the assembly list, so the guys will come out and grab the bike, grab the parts from upstairs, and assemble it.
That's awesome.
If the parts are here.
Right.
This is our new design we're calling the two-step.
Okay.
So it's step through.
Yeah, real low.
So real low. And then what we're doing is an E option. So people can pay a little bit extra, and it'll be all set up to accept Bike Swift system just right out of the box.
Got it.
So they don't have to ride it as an e-bike. It can be a regular tandem, but they can set it up with the E stuff, and they don't have to do anything crazy. It's just set up to go.
All right, so yeah, I guess from there, what do you want potential Seattle customers to know about your bike shop?
What do I want them to know about our bike shop? That's a good question, because we've been here 51 years. I want them to know that we do love cycles. We love bicycles. That's the reason that everybody that works here because they love bicycles. There is not a better place to buy a bicycle than right here, right now. I mean, we love it, and we love Seattle. I mean, here we are, 51 years.
It's really great.
Why not have your bike built for you instead of a bike built and then kind of adjusted to fit you? This can be your bike, the color you want, the decals you want. It's going to fit you perfect, because that's the main thing we're focusing on. That's the main thing that any bike should have, is a good fit. It should fit you right. If your bike fits right, you're going to be comfortable. If you're comfortable, you're going to ride faster, you're going to ride farther. That's just the way it works.
That was an awesome tour, Dan. So
Well, thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much. Really nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what other shops you want to see in the area, or what else you want to know. But otherwise, I'll see you all in the next video.